Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you very much indeed for watching me again today. Today I'm starting with a blank sheet of paper. It's one of those scary moments, certainly for me. Right, I have a friend's birthday, and if I've got this right, it's today. So happy birthday to her. She has a very interesting favourite colour combination, and it's basically that. So bright pink, purpley mauve, but not a deep purple, and a kind of aqua. Now I couldn't decide whether to go Bermuda Bay or Coastal Cabana, but on the basis that I've got the new Coastal Cabana, I thought I'd do that. But I am going to use Bermuda Bay as well, and I'll show you how I'm going to use Bermuda Bay actually before we start. So I'm preparing, it's a frightening colour scheme, I warn you. Melon Mambo card base, Whisper White is subtle, and then I've cut the Happy Birthday, using the Happy Birthday Thinlits die, out of the middle of the Bermuda Bay mat. So that's where I'm getting my Bermuda Bay from, and then I'm going to pop it on top as well. So this is really frightening because A, it's got an amazing colour scheme, but also I'm going to be making it up as I go along. I know I'm using, because I'd forgotten I had it, the Falling Flowers stamp set, and I used it in yesterday's project. I will also be using the Happy Birthday from the Birthday Wishes for You stamp set. I may actually use the With Many Wishes Just for You as well. And those will be on the inside of my card. But I'm starting with one of my smaller mats, measurements as over in the blog post below, and a sheet of paper. And I'm going to start with, just put any thought of logic on these colours to one side, please. I'm going to start with the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm going to ink up my big floral, just to give me somewhere as a sort of place to start, frankly. I think we'll pop it there, and I will use it again. Lovely! And I'm going to use the same again over this side, just so we've got some sort of frame. Oh, I didn't ink that up properly, did I? Doesn't matter. I'm not worried, because I'm going to be colouring in anyway. That's because I've got a very big stamp and a not quite so big pad. So I'll pop that away for the moment. I will be using it again. Right, let's think. I'll use the big flower first, and we're back to an old style case and Melon Mambo. And I'm going to, whoops, stamp over the edge and re-ink. And do you know, it's really interesting because we've now got lots of lovely new fresh, and again I've smudged there, not worried, because I can fill that in, because we've got all these lovely new fresh colours. Some of the colours that I always used to think were bright, I now don't think are bright. Right, Coastal Cabana. So ink up my leaf, for want of a better expression, and pop that in the middle. And then, do I want to use it there, or do I want to use the small? No, I think I want to use the small, so we won't use that. Right, so let's bring in some of our smaller bits. I want to see what else I've got that I can fill in with. So we'll have a bit of Coastal Cabana kind of creeping into the side a bit. And this is where I'm going to throw logic out a wee bit. Need to have, well, I mean, I've kind of thrown logic out already. I'm going to just, oh, that's going to be a bit large to go there, I think. We'll give it a go. Got away with it, but it's nicely covered up that smudge. And we'll add another one there. And I think we need some more Coastal Cabana. So we'll use, this is the blobs. So I'll add some blobs. And a bit more in the way of Coastal Cabana, just tucking in every now and again. We'll have that there. Do I want one there? Yes, I think I probably do. Yep, that will do. I'm going to need some of these blocks again, so I'm going to close that for the moment. I will need it. But let's just stamp those off to get the worst off, and then I will use my lovely new, already getting quite dirty, but it's still brilliant to clean with, Simply Chamois, because it's gorgeous. You just, whoops, you just try not to take your stamp off in the process, just squish it in there, it's brilliant. And then all you do is run it under a tap. I mean, you just need it wet, damp. The instructions, it does say dampen before use, air dry between uses, washable. So I've just popped that. I can keep it nicely in a clear mount stamp case, because it can just sit on my work surface, not getting in the way, and it just cleans everything up beautifully. As you can see, it's just amazing. And all it is water. I do still like my Stampin' Scrub, but for quick, easy cleaning, this is just amazing. So there we go. Did I clean that one? I think I did. But we are going to need some of those blocks, so I thought I would clean as I went. Right, okay. So let's get these open again, because I'm going to need, actually that needs a bit more ink in the lid, because it's not had ink in the lid for a while. Get my inks ready to use, and I'm then just going to grab a blender pen, which I have here, and what I'm going to do is just fill some of this in. Now the first thing I'm going to do is obviously resolve this issue here, just by adding a bit more ink where it should have been in the first place. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll just blend that out to cover up the mistake. And then just... Now what I'm not going to do is cross colour, because I think that might, for me, be a little step too far. I'm sure the girl that it's going to, lady that it's going to, would love it. But there are limits in my life as to just how mad I will go. But this is really quick, easy, just kind of filling in so that there is a background. So really this is creating your own designer series paper. So do remember, and it's just, you know, ink, stamp and paper, which is kind of what Stampin' Up is all about. The other bits are lovely, but ink, stamp and paper is really all we need. Have I caught all of that? Yep. So that's all of the gorgeous grape. That's done. Now let's do, this is going to take a bit more doing, but what I like about this is that you can actually do some shading, because as the ink on your blender pen runs out, you can get some shading in. So you can get a little bit of dimension going. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this, because, you know, there are more exciting things for you to watch than me doing this. Now, some of the ink is still coming from the actual stamped image, because that will reactivate a bit, but I'm really liking that the outside is paler than the inside. That's of the flower, I mean. So let's pick up a wee bit more and just get that darker again. And then we can bring that out and we've got this nice shading. Woo! Can you see that? Let me see. Can you see? We've got some shading just because it's the way the ink works. So again, if I start in the middle and work out, we can get some shading going, which is just great. I had a horrible feeling I could hear rain. That's because I can. That's not forecast, that's not fair. We're not supposed to have rain today. That is unfair. So I hope you are enjoying the new catalogue. I'm loving it, and I'm loving mixing old and new, because why wouldn't you? And just because something is a carryover item doesn't mean it's not still a great item. And this is a real nice mix between old and new. So we've got the old stamp set. I mean, Falling Flowers has been around for quite a while now. So yeah, just because it's been around doesn't make it any the worse. I just love it. Right, so we're getting there. This really is a bit of a kind of watching paint dry moment, really, isn't it? And I do love that even if you haven't been able to get all of the new Stampin' Right markers, which, by the way, come in a pack, so you can get all of the new colours together. I don't know why I scribbled that off, because I still need the middles. So you can get a whole set of all of the new Stampin' Right markers, which is brilliant. So you don't need to worry about the fact that otherwise you can only get them in colour families. Stampin' Up have thought of that too. You can buy them as a set of all of the new. You can also get all of the new cardstock. Obviously, except with the exception of the new in colours, because they're just new in colours and we're used to that. But for the new and the returning colours, you can get, you can get new Stampin' Right markers, new ink pads and new card as separate item numbers, but it means you get all of the new stuff to play with without having to buy bits that you don't want. Right, should probably have done the Coastal Cabana before I did the Melon Mambo, because Melon Mambo is quite a strong colour. And again, I'm going to try and get that ombre effect. Now do remember, we are only playing with Whisper White, so don't scrub too much, otherwise you will get pilling, and we do not want pilling. Where are we on the time? Good grief, 14 minutes, okay. Well, the rest of it won't take terribly long. Once we've got this done, the construction, if my thought process is correct, won't actually take terribly long. Can't believe it's raining. At least it's not as hard as it was last week. That's something, I suppose. We had, I kid you not, in the space of, hour and a half, 2 inches of rain. My concern at the moment is not whether my garden is going to get enough water, it's whether it's had too much. I've got lots of things in pots that were literally sitting in water. I mean, the top of the pots had water, and this was, hour and a half after the rain had finished. I went out just to see what the damage was, and things were sitting in water. So there we go. So that's our background, which is fun. And then, now this is the question, is that going to look too busy on top? I think we might be a bit too busy on top. So what I will do is maybe, it'll cover that up, but that's fine. What I am going to do, let's see if I can find a sensible size piece of card to do it on. Perfect. Right, grab my trimmer. Don't you love that you get to see me making it up as I go along? Right, okay. So let's pop this down. So what I'm going to do is just have this as a kind of mat in the middle. I want it very close to the edge. There we are. Perfect. Okay, I will measure that and let you have the dimensions, which will be on the blog post below. So if you click in the description bar, if you're wondering what on earth I'm saying about the blog post below, if you click on the description bar below this video, much better, you will see what I mean. Right, I'm just going to grab, because I want that to be a little more obvious. One of these is going to be the right colour. I would have thought. I can't believe I haven't used... Oh, well, I can use that. How bizarre. Okay, never mind. I want that, and I want Bermuda Bay. So what I'm very quickly going to do with what was a Marina Mist dauber, no, that's fine, is just so that there's an edge, I'm just going to add some Bermuda Bay just to the edge of the card, just to show that there is actually an edge, and it will make it look a bit more mint, even though it wasn't, even though it's a last minute thought. But it will help just pull everything together a wee bit. So we'll add that to the pile of things we're using. Right, okay, so now adding this to this, if you saw my video yesterday with the delicate details, let me just clean this off a bit, you will have seen me use the silicone mat with a glue sponge. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I just want to get the worst of this off. But this is old multi-purpose glue. You can just wash this under a tap, but for speed, I will just rub it. I mean, you have to rub it as well as wash it under a tap, but right, okay, let's get rid of that icky stuff. And right, one silicone mat, one happy birthday. Oops, things flying everywhere. Why would you expect anything less? Right, glue, sponge, pick up glue with sponge, and whoops, just add that to the back of our die cut. And it's a whole lot easier than, just be careful at the edges, whole lot easier than trying to add adhesive bit at a time. Grab that with those, bring in, let's get rid of that, bring in my mat. rub it from the back. There we go. Happy birthday! So, add this to that. Where's my snail? There's my snail. Now I'm going to add it to the white. As you know, I quite often like adding it to the colour that I'm sticking it to, or the whatever I'm sticking it to. But because we've got holes in the what I'm sticking it to, I'll actually add a little bit more. That would be interesting, I think. So it is only a very narrow mat, as ever. So that's that then, as we're going to just accept that this is part of the card. And we planned it all the way along. Add some dimensionals to the front. I cannot believe it's 20 minutes. Well, I can actually, because I spent quite a lot of time colouring in. However, there we are. That's what you get with me. Pop that. No, bang, slap, poop in the middle. There we are. Get rid of those. And so, Melon Mambo card base. So it's half sheet of Melon Mambo scored down the middle and folded. So this, I'm going to use liquid adhesive to stick to the front. And I'm going to avoid putting any, well, I'll put a little bit in the middle because I know there's something underneath that. Oop, just check that that's the right way up, yes. So pop that in the middle. And then the only other thing that I want to do is grab my birthday wishes for you, and we'll just grab the happy birthday, which apparently I've not used. I thought I had, but apparently I haven't. And this block. And, oh, let's use Bermuda Bay because then it ties everything back. Actually, no, I'm going to go with one of her absolute favourites, and that is the purple Gorgeous Grape. And just pop that in the middle. Ta-da! Right, so that then just needs to be stuck to the inside of the card, and we are good to go. Now, what you could do if you wanted is, just want to make sure that's dry because it's a nice new juicy ink pad, is you can emboss that and then colour in the middle. And I haven't got it yet, but we've got basic black embossing powder. So you could do the outline in black and colour in colour, which would be gorgeous. Gonna have to get the basic black. Didn't think I was going to. And there we are. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, can't speak. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!